So let's talk about Africa, and then we're gonna go back to Bangkok. Number one, what do you think about what I said about Ghana? Because I thought Ghana was pretty Americanized. It wasn't as bad as the West, but it reminded me a lot. I mean, from the way how the dudes sagged, the competition, like the flex, how dudes like to flex.
Yeah.
The women. I went on a date with a woman, and she showed up with this mug, like immediately. And I was, that's all too familiar to what I experienced in Texas. Like, she hasn't even met me yet. She agreed to come here. Now, she didn't act entitled. That's why I said it's not as bad. Because in the West, you would see that, and then you'd have to check her. I didn't have to check her, but it was just very reminding. What do you feel about my experience or what I said about it?
I concur with you fully. I haven't been to Ghana in a few years. Many years, actually. I've been to Nigeria most recently, and it's if you look at Africa, you know, Ghana and Senegal and Nigeria and Ivory Coast, they're closer to the States, and they got direct flights. So there's direct United flights to Lagos, and there's direct flights to Accra, and there's a large Ghanaian, Nigerian population in the States, and Ghana has done a fantastic job of marketing the return of Black Americans. Come over here, we'll give you your visa to stay. They want it's economics. You know, we have our dollar goes farther there, and so I'm still in touch with my best friend I grew up with in Ghana, in Accra. We speak pretty much every day online, and it's the same thing. He was married 20 frats years. Has 3 grown daughters. He said, and he got divorced, bad divorce. He says, I'm never doing it again. So the modern mindset, the entitlement modern Western mindset is infecting that area. You get farther and farther away from the US, farther and farther away from Europe. It's an inverse relationship.
Okay, I would agree about that. Now, another thing about Ghana, would you say that Ghana was oversold to Americans?
Yes,
because
completely.
When I got there, and they're like, the return, you know, what is it, the year of return?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to feel, people are telling me you're gonna like the West more than the East, and I'm gonna let you know right now, Nairobi has, the standard is so high. Everywhere else I've been after that, Senegal was right here, but Nairobi was just, it's everything for me when it comes to Africa.
I want to come to Mombasa.
Yeah.
I'm dying to go to Mombasa.
I like Nairobi better than Mombasa.
Really?
I think Mombasa has its own usage, but for
Yeah,
me,
I like the ocean,
Nairobi.
so I'm wondering, you know, the beach thing. But I mean, I got to think back. It started, I mean, many years ago. Well, let's look historically. With Ghana, there was a famous black actor in the 20s and 30s by the name of Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson played, did many plays in Shakespeare. He played in Othello and Emperor Jones, very famous movies, and he was ostracized. He got branded as a communist in the States. So he had to leave. And where did he go? He went to Ghana. Stevie Wonder, years and years ago, where did he go? He's been a resident of Ghana for a long time. You see, it's easy to get to, and they are very friendly to the United States because so many Ghanaians live. Now, here's the thing. You've been in different countries in Africa. Tribalism is still a big thing.
I've noticed that.
So you have your Ashanti, you have your Twi, you have your Fanti, and I know them in the States, and professionals, women who have different groups. She's a Twi, she won't go because it's all Fanti women, okay? Right. Because those old bloodlines, I don't want to say blood fused, but the tribalism is still rife, and they'll stay in their little zones there. It's not so much in South Africa though, you know, because they have the common enemy in apartheid. So, but and that's the thing with Ghana, that it's like they say with you know, Mexicans would always say, it's like they're so far from God and so close to the United States. That was a problem that they have, that the Yankee was always there. You know, I've seen articles where, talk about, you get off the topic a little bit, where so many retirees moving to certain cities in Mexico that the Mexicans are pushing back. We don't want all these Yankees down here. They don't speak Spanish. They're driving up the house values, so they can't afford.
So, like I was saying though, the problem I had with Ghana was people said I would like it more than the east of Africa, and it's supposed to be the year of return. They want more Black Americans to come back. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt a lot more we want you here in Kenya than Ghana. I didn't feel like they were pushing me away in Ghana, but what I felt was the ease of getting in and settling in was not what I experienced in Kenya. That's why Kenya messed it up for the rest of Africa for me, because when you get to Kenya, you get there, you need your SIM card, the Safari comes right there, you get that. You don't need an ID. When I got to Ghana, actually before we even get that, to get into Kenya, you could pay for a visa on arrival.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you can't. Now you can pay for a visa on arrival, but before you get it online, it's $50. For me to get into Ghana, it's $150, $200 to expedite it, and I had to have somebody help me get in.
You need to have a fixer.
It took a week.
Really?
That was the process I went through. But online, it says you need to mail in your paperwork.
No way.
Mail it to another country, then wait for them to send you your visa back. So I was always looking like that shit's gonna take 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I pay extra, I could have this guy bring me in, get my stamp, go in.
Yeah, you get a fixer, and the fixer gets kickbacks. I mean, I remember when COVID hit and people had to go into Ghana, they would say you have to stay at this particular hotel, and it was the fixer's cousin who owned the hotel, and they would jack up the price, things like that. And so this was actually the half black, half German guy that went to Howard with me and Troy. Just call him. He's a pilot. He's in Germany right now, so we just chop it up. It's funny that you mentioned that, but I remember growing up in West Africa, and my dad and my mom would go to Ethiopia. It was a gem, in the 70s and 80s, and going to South Africa, and then going to Kenya and Nairobi. I remember seeing the safari pictures. I just haven't made it to the east. I got to get there. And now that I'm settled in here, the flights. Another thing about being out here in Bangkok, you can fly anywhere cheaper than from the United States. In the central, you can get up to Qatar and then down to East Africa. 6-hour flight.
I flew straight from Ethiopia.
Oh, you took Ethiopian Airways? Yep.
I love them too. I love Ethiopia Airways.
One thing. So when I lived in Abu Dhabi for a few years, and I met a lovely Ethiopian woman who was a pilot for the big airline Etihad, and I didn't know this, but the best pilots in Africa come from Ethiopia. They take it very seriously. They have training academies there. They raise up their people, their smartest ones to be the pilots, and they'll go to Emirates Airlines, they'll go to Etihad, and they'll live out there, and they're the sharpest ones when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. And she was drop dead gorgeous too. Mm-hmm. And I grew up eating Ethiopian food. I mean, Dorwat, Fit, Tej, all that stuff. And yeah, I just haven't had a chance to, date an Ethiopian woman yet.
Me either. But I've met a few of them. But to Ghana, the visa process was more of a hassle than Kenya. Kenya's was pretty much easy, and you could buy the East African and go to Uganda, Rwanda with that visa.
And you land, you can get a SIM without an ID.
Yeah, when you get to Ghana, I was like, okay, so where's the phones? Where's y'all's phone shop at? Because I don't have a SIM card. I don't have an American company that'll connect anywhere in the world, like AT&T or something like that. They're like, oh, we'll have to do that tomorrow. You need a Ghanaian ID. You need somebody with a Ghanaian. I said, tomorrow? In an ID? I said, well, how do I have an ID? I just got here. I don't have an ID.
And they're blocking, such economic, opportunities, because when you land in the UAE, they're giving away SIM cards. This SIM card is free for tours for 2 weeks, and you burn through your minutes. Here you land, you get it, and then you want to refill it, you just go to 7-Eleven.
And it's super fast.
Super fast. And it's, I just don't understand that whole trying to, not to insult my Ghanaian brothers and sisters, but it's a money grab on the side of the Ghanaian government.
Yeah.
And the corporations there, I think, because they know that Black Americans have this romanticized view of Africa. Mm-hmm. America bad, let's go and live in Ghana where things will be better. But is only because you have your Western money coming in, and you're going to be in the upper class the moment you get there. You see, we're here in Bangkok right now. I'm looking at the SkyTrain go past. The SkyTrain mass transit here is better than in Washington, D.C., where I live. Nothing in the United States compares to that, and that's why I need infrastructure, and you cannot beat the infrastructure here in Bangkok.
Yes, it's very developed, very developed. But yeah, I think that Ghana, what they're doing is they want us to come back. They call it the year of return, but to me, like you said, it's a money grab. Because when you get there, you got to pay for this, you got to pay for this. I went and got something to eat, and I looked at my receipt, all these different taxes, VAT, and then it said COVID tax. In August of 2023, there's a COVID tax. First country I've been to out of the 14 countries I've been in, never seen a COVID tax. And I was like, why is there a COVID tax? He said, they just tax us for everything.
And no, it's funny because, like I said, my best friend Thomas, who I speak to all the time, we laugh about all the Americans want to have come to Ghana. All the Ghanaians are trying to get out. His one sister lives up in England where she's a lawyer. His brother is in England as a chef. You see, everybody has their relations outside of the country. Thais don't leave Thailand. Japanese are here only because everything is inflated there, and Japanese money. The area I live is tons. My building is 98% Japanese because their dollar, their yen goes farther. But it's and you know, my number one draft pick down in Johannesburg, she's like, yeah, we all have a plan to get out if you're not extremely wealthy. I mean, because you know they have the load shedding. The power goes out for 4 days. Power come back on, then the water goes out. There's only one working fire station in Johannesburg. You got to have bars on the windows. You see, the taxis aren't regulated. There's thievery everywhere. You know, you can't leave your phone out. Somebody will snatch it out of your hand. I mean, I loved it when I was down in Johannesburg. But I told her if I ever move to South Africa, we got to go to Cape Town. But Cape Town has its own set of challenges down there.
Like, what would you say the challenges in Cape Town? Because that's my next African country.
Beautiful. God has blessed South Africa with natural beauty and resources. But I'm only speaking anecdotally from my folks that I have down there, that they have, it's lovely there, the weather's lovely there, but they've got their challenges with crime and with gangs and things like that. Here in Bangkok, you see school children from elementary school up to college riding the SkyTrain by themselves. People aren't getting snatched off the street. I mean, you're on a motorbike taxi, you're a little too drunk, you might fall off, you know, and like clock your head.
It's not too many dangers for the most part.
Nah. Same as, you know, UAE, extremely safe, Japan, South Korea, you know, Philippines, you know, that's a different story there, you know, it's just, but one thing about Thailand is Thailand has never been colonized.
Yes.
Japan has been colonized, Philippines been colonized, Korea's been colonized, the Chinese to a degree been colonized, all of sub-Saharan Africa has been colonized, so they're still fighting those endemic societal problems that came from the colonial era. Here in Thailand, they're extremely proud that they were never colonized, and they've got that firm base of a culture and a society, and they know that they're the strongest gang on the block. And so having that sense of comfort, that sense of knowledge that nobody's ever conquered them, the Thais are rightly proud of it, and they don't tolerate anything here. It's not, you know, Big Brother or anything like that. I mean, you're in UAE, there's cameras everywhere. Yeah, oh, exactly, yeah. So that's another reason why, you know, everybody goes to Dubai, you know, and Abu Dhabi and things like that, but there's cameras everywhere. The police are very nice. They don't write tickets to stop you in your car, but they investigate crimes when they do happen. There's only maybe 1 or 2 murders a year in the UAE. Extremely safe. We could leave everything out at the mall, your bag, your purse, your phones, go to the food court, come back, everything's still there. Nobody's going to touch it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
definitely got to take a trip there then.
Yeah, exactly. You know, everybody has to go through Dubai, Abu Dhabi at least once. You know, but it's the desert. There's no seasons. Here we have seasons. I can see green. You know, I can see grass. We can go up north to Chiang Mai or Chiang Rai. So.